What if our Earth simply stopped spinning? Forget the seasons, forget the sunrise, and forget the cool relief of the night. Imagine waking up to find the sun frozen in the sky, a silent executioner that never leaves its post. This isn't a distant alien world. This is our home, trapped in a permanent, terrifying stare with its star. Welcome to the tidal-locked Earth. We used to take the rotation of our planet for granted. We measured our lives by the clockwork of day and night, a natural rhythm that governed everything from the way we slept to the way we built our civilizations. But in this reality, that rhythm never existed. From the very beginning, the Earth was gripped by the sun's gravity so firmly that it lost its ability to turn. Our world is divided into two dead halves and one thin, desperate strip of life. It is a world of absolute extremes, where the geography of survival is dictated by a shadow that hasn't moved for 4 billion years. If you stood on the day side, the side of the Earth that forever faces the sun, you would find a landscape that is literally being cooked alive. Here, there is no such thing as a morning or an evening. The sun hangs directly overhead, a massive, unmoving ball of white fire that never wavers. The heat is relentless. In the center of this hemisphere, the temperatures are high enough to melt lead. The Atlantic and Pacific Oceans in these regions aren't water anymore. They are boiling basins of steam and salt. The ground is a jagged, cracked wasteland of baked clay and volcanic glass. The air doesn't move in a breeze. It rises in violent vertical columns of superheated gas, screaming toward the upper atmosphere. This is a place where time has been erased by light. There is no shadow to hide in, no moment of respite. It is a desert of eternal noon, a furnace that has consumed half of our world. But on the opposite side, the night side, the Earth is a frozen tomb. Imagine a continent that has never felt the touch of a single photon of sunlight. The darkness here is absolute, a thick, suffocating blackness that has lasted since the birth of the planet. Without the warmth of the sun, the atmosphere on this side has quite literally collapsed. It doesn't just snow water, it snows air. Nitrogen and oxygen frost coat the ruins of mountains and the plains of frozen methane. The silence is the most terrifying part. There is no wind, no sound of life, only the cracking of the ice as the crust of the Earth shrinks under the pressure of absolute zero. To venture here is to leave the world of the living and enter a void where your very breath would turn to glass before it left your lungs.
Humanity, and all life as we know it, is crowded into the twilight zone. This is the ring, a narrow, circular borderland that sits exactly between the fire and the frost. It is a sliver of land, only a few thousand miles wide, where the sun perpetually sits on the horizon. It never rises and it never sets. It is a world of eternal sunset, a bruised orange and purple sky that never changes. This is where we built our cities, carving them into the hard basalt of the mountain ranges to hide from the weather. Because the Earth is so hot on one side and so cold on the other, the atmosphere is in a constant, violent struggle to find balance. This creates the Great Gale, a permanent supersonic wind that howls from the frozen dark toward the burning light. This isn't a storm that passes, it is a feature of the geography. Our buildings aren't just houses, they're bunkers, designed with smooth, rounded edges to let the wind slide over them. Every window is a reinforced port, every door an airlock. We don't live on the surface, we live inside the planet, using the Earth itself as a shield against the unrelenting sky. The way we think about time has changed completely. Our ancestors used the sun to tell them when to work and when to rest. We don't have that luxury. We use artificial clocks, mechanical heartbeats that keep our society functioning in a world where tomorrow is a meaningless word. Our children grow up in a world of orange light. They have never seen a star, and they have never seen a blue sky. To them, the sun is just a static object, like a mountain in the sky that provides heat but no hope of change. In this reality, the great green belt of the twilight zone is the only place where water can exist in a liquid state. It is a landscape of permanent mist and fog, where the heat from the day side meets the cold of the night side. This creates a massive, endless wall of clouds that marks the habitable zone. We grow our food in giant underground hydroponic farms powered by solar arrays that sit out in the burning desert of the day side. We mine our fuel from the frozen nitrogen plains of the night side. Our entire existence is a high wire act, a delicate balance between two different kinds of death.
Every resource we have is a result of this extreme geography. To get water, we must travel to the edges of the night side and mine the ancient glaciers that are miles thick. To get energy, we send automated drones into the blistering heat of the day side to harvest the concentrated solar power that never stops flowing. There is no such thing as a weekend or a holiday when the environment is trying to kill you every second of every hour. Labor is divided into shifts that have nothing to do with light and everything to do with the limits of human endurance. We live in a world where a single mechanical failure in our ventilation systems means the difference between life and a frozen or burned grave. The psychology of our people is as static as the sun. We are a cautious, obsessive race. When the world doesn't change, you become terrified of anything that moves. Our stories aren't about heroes going on quests to distant lands. They are about guardians standing their ground. We don't look at the horizon with curiosity because we already know what's there. To the left is the fire, to the right is the ice, and right here is the only place we can breathe. This lack of movement has bled into our art, our music, and our very souls. Everything is heavy, slow, and permanent. We often wonder what it would be like to live on a planet that spins. We read the old scientific theories about seasons, about the idea that the weather could change, or that the temperature could drop just because the sun went away for a few hours. To us, it sounds like a chaotic, unstable nightmare. How could you plan a life in a world that is constantly moving? How could you sleep if you knew the sun was going to disappear? In our world, the only thing we can count on is the static. The sun is there, the ice is there, the shadow is there. We have become a civilization of the border. We are the architects of the edge, living in the narrowest margin of error that nature allows. We don't look up at the sky for inspiration. We look at our thermometers. We don't pray for rain. We pray that the great gale doesn't pick up speed. We are the one variable, the variable of a world that stood still. We are the inhabitants of the infinite now, the guardians of a planet that is locked in a final frozen embrace with its star. This is our Earth. It doesn't spin, it doesn't change, and it doesn't care. It simply exists, half burned and half frozen, and we are the only ones left to witness its silence. We are the voices in the twilight, speaking to a universe that has already forgotten we exist.